welcome back everybody to another episode of DeceasedCraft. So, in the last episode, we did do a little bit of stuff for immersive engineering, which was basically making the coke oven, the blast brick furnace, and then the improved version of that. And then I'm not sure if I went over the alloy kiln, but that is basically used to mix alloys, as it kind of suggests. And yeah, I did put some stuff to be made over time, so I have been producing a bit of steel just in case I needed extra, which is pretty nice. It is always nice to be able to produce your own stuff, just because yes, looting is fun, but at the same time, not having to worry about which place you have been to, which ones you haven't, does play a pretty nice role, honestly. Which, I mean, I really enjoy producing my own materials in Minecraft, which is nice. But yeah, one thing I did want to go over, just because at the end of last episode, I kind of showed you guys what you guys can do with the core sample drill and MV accumulator, but I kind of forgot about an item that you can make, which is this mineral survey tool, which is pretty cool and relatively simple to make. So all you really need is some tough fabric, a hammer, glass bottle, and a book and quill to make this. And then once you get it, you can claim one for free from the quest book. But the reason why it's useful is because it is similar to the core sample drill, where it would give you a rough idea if there's minerals in an area, but there is a caveat to it, so there's some blocks that don't work with it. So if you hold right click, as you can see, this says this block cannot be used. However, if you hover over a moss block or I think any more natural block, as you can see, it does say that a little hint. So it says traces of pendolite here indicate a vein towards the west. So technically it's saying towards the west, which means in that direction. But if we use our core sample drill and right click on this guy and let it do its thing, we'll get a little bit more detail about what is here. Also, I configured my MV accumulator to output energy in all 4 directions, just because when you are running around in different chunks throwing this down, if you only set one side to output, you kind of may need to look around the block for a minute before you could actually place this guy down. So having all 4 sides configured is very nice. And if we right click, just like that, we get a core sample. And if we look at all the information that's truly available, this is everything that is true for this specific chunk. So in this chunk, there is 93% pendolite, about 7% bituminous coal, and then like 0.5% galena. I know I didn't say the exact numbers, but roughly. So if you look at the other numbers beside it, it says saturation and then expected yield. I think I mentioned this before, but the saturation is just saying out of the 100% total ores in this area, this percent is this ore. So like here it's pendolite. And then if we were to put the excavator here and it's bringing up the ores from the expected yield, then that yield expected, you multiply it by 97%, and that's basically the total amount of ores that you can expect to get from it, which means there is some chance that you're not going to get all those ores. So like, let's say hypothetically you miss out on like 3% of that 97 because it's out of 100. So out of like a million, 3% is what, 30,000 blocks that you might be collecting that isn't an ore, which isn't a problem, but hopefully that kind of makes sense. And then whenever you do get a sample that has like multiple veins all inside, as you can see, that does not mean you're gonna get like all that ore from that area. If anything, you're gonna get like small percentages, which makes it a little hard to understand what's going on when you get one of these. But good news is we are not really here for this side. We are here for that side. Oh yeah, and if you guys don't know how to figure out what mineral vein is what, because as you can see, it just says galena, coal, and pendolite. I mean, the coal one kind of makes a lot of sense, but what is galena? What is pendolite? Quick review. Just come over here to your engineer's manual, come to resources, click on mineral deposits, and if you just click through it, as you can see, there's all the names. And if we get back over here, Galena tells you what's inside, which I did find a chunk, and is the chunk we are going to be working on. And if we come over here to uh, the Pendolite, you can see that it is a little bit more of the other ores, which is also very handy. So maybe I might mine here, maybe I might not, just because there's all those different numbers, and I don't know exactly how that all coincides with one another, but yeah. I did clear out a little bit of this area and flattened it out, put a little bit of construction signs up for the zombies to know that they shouldn't come over here. But those brainless baboons don't know the difference between a fence and anything else, basically. They just want us, so that's probably not going to work. But yeah, so I fenced all this off just so they don't really bother us while we set this up, just because this might take me a little bit of time, and I know I am stalling by just talking. So, let's get to the meat and potatoes of all this. I do have some create stuff here, just because I was thinking of switching from immersive engineering back into create, so that I can show you guys how to make basically infinite gunpowder. However, there is a few things that I realized that I will need to set up before I can do that, and I realized that if I just set up the excavator site first, then I could just siphon some power from it to help power the machines it needed for infinite gunpowder. But yeah, so if we do come over here, I did put a little thing over here. As you can see, I did put a little bit of the stats, so I don't have to pick it up. So this is a Galena vein that is 99% saturated, which is pretty crazy. Here it does say 100% Galena. I'll pick that up in a little bit. I think that's just to mention, like, this is the only mineral that's in this area. But yeah, with an expected 7 or 1.7 million ores. So if we take a quick look at this, as you can see, it is 100% galena, so this mineral vein will only produce anything that comes from galena, which I'll take a quick look at the ores again. I'm pretty sure it's like lead. I think that's the only one I care about. That's the only one I can remember right now. But yeah, as you can see, it is a 99.09% saturated. And if we take a quick look over here and click over, yeah, so we get some lead, we're going to get a little bit of sulfur, and a wee bit of silver. But I only care about the lead just because that is what we are going to need to be able to keep producing bullets. Of course, we can keep buying them, but if we can just produce them and save money, that is going to be huge. And let's take care of this guy real quick. Kaboom. Okay, so this is going to be our area. I did put some of these logs here just so that we can kind of have a little map as to what is being placed where and why. So these logs here, it may not make any sense. However, this is where we are going to be placing our garden cloches, which produces the materials needed for the biodiesel. So to make this biodiesel real quick, let me click on it and come to the refinery, because you are going to need a refinery to mix some materials. The one thing I don't have is some nitrate, so I might have to go offline for a moment to get that, which is going to be a little annoying. Or not, we'll see what I can conjure up in this episode, but yeah. So, we are going to need ethanol and seed oil. So, how do we get ethanol? I'm just making sure I have the immersive engineering one. So ethanol can be produced at the fermenter, and the easiest source, in my opinion, is utilizing some potatoes. So you throw a potato in the fermenter, give it some energy, and over time it's going to produce some ethanol. Cool, real easy. How are we going to get potatoes? Don't they only grow during the spring? And to that, yes. However, there's this magical device called a garden enclosure. So what this does is it can make potatoes. Throw some dirt, you throw a potato, and give it a little bit of water and energy, and it will produce potatoes. As you can see, if you do give it some rich soil from Farmer's Delight, which we don't have any currently, which isn't a problem, it just yields an extra potato, but yeah. With just that, you'll get a potato. Use rich soil. If you want to be a little bit more efficient, you get an extra potato, which makes it, how I said, a little more efficient. But you can always just add another cloche, which is probably easier, or cloche, whatever it's called. I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you do add bone meal or any sort of fertilizer in here, it will increase the speed and I think efficiency of this machine. So you'll basically you get more potatoes. So if you have all this extra nitrate, fertilizer, uh, slag, or bone meal, might as well toss it in here a couple times every here and there just to get extra potatoes. But yeah, we are going to be doing that for the potato and for hemp seeds. Why hemp seeds? Well, now that we covered ethanol and how we get it from the fermenter, let's click on plant oil. So, plant oil can be made in the industrial squeezer, and as you can see, there are quite a few seeds, and then it does show how much oil is produced from each, which honestly, these are pretty good amounts. I mean, this will be equivalent to a potato. So, why are we not doing that? And I don't know if you just saw, but this is a reason why. Hemp seeds, when squeezed in the squeezer, produce 120 millibuckets, which is 40 millibuckets more than potatoes and about 40 millibuckets more than any other seed that is capable of being squeezed. So, we are going to be doing the same thing with the hemp seeds. We are going to throw it into a cloche. The only issue is that when we do, we are going to have to be a little bit wary about the hemp fiber that is also going to be produced. So we are going to need to make a tiny little filter so that we are able to properly feed our machines the right materials without filling it up. Just because if you do get the hemp fiber into the squeezer and it ends up filling it up, it will just not work. And then everything's just going to back up. And then boom, all of a sudden, your diesel doesn't have enough biodiesel. So it is not producing energy. And there you just have a broken down excavation site. So I do have a little fix for that, but yeah, this is how we are going to produce these two, and then we just need to pipe these guys into the refinery, and the refinery with a singular nitrate will easily create into biodiesel. So that is rather easy, and to get nitrate dust, all you have to do is build a crusher, give it some power, toss in some sandstone, it'll crush it up with 50% chance of producing some silica dust and or nitrate dust, and of course 2 pieces of sand, which can help you just in case, let's say you throw 4 pieces in, you didn't get it. Yeah, you lost half the material, but then you got half to remake it back into sandstone, toss it back in, and hopefully get one of these, because you only really need 1 nitrate dust to act as the filter to be able to produce your biodiesel, and then you will never have to worry about it ever again. And then over here, we do have some silica dust, which is produced, which is going to be huge, because this is the only way that I think we can produce this silicon. If you guys don't know what it's used for, basically it is the building block and the foundation for refined storage. Without it, you can do absolutely nothing, which kind of almost stumped me, just because earlier I was trying to mess around, figure out how to make a little sorting system to only allow the what was it, squeezer to only get hemp seeds, and I couldn't figure it out just because I was planning on using pipes. Just because when you do upgrade it or put in one of these upgrades into the pipe, you will be able to whitelist and blacklist certain materials and or liquids, whatever you choose, to go in or out of a certain area. However, to be able to make the advanced pipe, you need advanced processors, and I have none of them, which threw me for a loop because I was confused. I was like, how do I get this? And I was like, I have to explore just because I do know that we have to make it. However, to make it, we need silicone and this mold advanced processor. I don't even know where to get this. I don't think this is currently available in the game, which is something I'm going to have to figure out just because I have yet to find one of these. I think it might be in the new district. However, there is a high chance that it is also just not there or in the game currently, which makes this a little hard to navigate. However, I'll do my best to figure it out. But yeah, so then my next choice was to make an extracting conveyor belt because I'm pretty sure you can make these pull out a certain item. However, we cannot make this curtain, so I'm pretty sure you could probably actually find this one over in the tier 3 district that we haven't been to. However, I don't feel like going over there, so I skipped over this option as well. And I was like, damn, am I really going to have you to use normal Minecraft mechanics with a hopper to filter out the system to only allow certain things into it? Which, I mean, I could have done it, but I really didn't want to. So I thought and I thought and I thought to myself, what can be configured to accept certain things or drop certain things? And then that reminded me, we have create, and there's funnels, and there's a certain funnel that you have to make, and that is one of these brass funnels, because these guys can be configured with an item, and or if you use a list filter, you can do either or. But yeah, and luckily enough, we do have the items required to make it. We do have brass, we do have some kelp, which is easy to acquire, and I've been growing a little bit of myself. And then we have these components from when we were looting. However, I believe we can also produce them. Yep, doesn't look like a crazy recipe. So yeah, I made some of those, tested it out real quick just to make sure it worked how I wanted it to. And man, I love these little tiny little puzzles just because it makes me have to learn what do I need to put together to make this work. And yeah, that was fun. That was fun trying to figure that out. But yeah, so with that, I was able to finally get everything needed, and I put it all into this backpack. And yes, I will leave the screen like this if you want to screenshot it, take a picture, whatever you want to do. This is basically all of the materials. All that's missing from inside of here is the diesel generator. And that is because I have it over here in this shulker box, because when I went to the casino, I put everything from the diesel in here. So yeah, if you really wanted to screenshot, this is probably the actual best screenshot of all the materials that is needed. Of course, I am a little overkill by over prepping some of the materials. So just a little warning there. Some of the stuff I do have more of, but I'd rather be over prepared than under prepared whenever I am working on one of these setups, just because immersive engineering can take a little bit of your time and a wee bit of materials to set it up. And yeah, that's kind of what makes it very satisfying once you get it all up and running, just because it looks really nice and you worked hard to get it to work. But yeah, this is the area where we are going to set up everything for the excavator. And as for this little platform over here, it is a chunk big. This is where I'm hopefully going to be setting up our gunpowder farm, just because I do want to siphon some power from our diesel and bring it up there to be able to power the crusher and the press next episode. Just because if I were to do both in this episode, it's going to be forever. I'm going to do a quick little teleport real quick just to show you guys a quick little update on our base. So last time I think I showed you where I wanted to build it. I'm uncertain as to what is it? As to what I've shown and how much I've cleared. So now I removed basically all the trees in this area, which took quite a while, but now that we are here, okay, we have some boars just chilling. I'm pretty sure we have a cow somewhere over there in that vicinity. But yeah, this was the area that I was first checking to see if I could find some galena. However, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a few of these markers in different spots where I checked if we can actually find some ore. So yeah, if we press M on the map, you can see these tiny little brown dots. Yes, all of these tiny little dark spots on the map is where I checked for Galena, and I could not find any Galena. And yes, you can find them everywhere, even over here, up here. Let's see, down here somewhere, right there. I think that's another one. And then this way, there's one here, one right there, one right here, over here. As you can see, I actually went everywhere in this area just because I thought it would be cool to be able to find all of our resources in one area that we are going to call our stronghold in this apocalyptic world. However, Galena was not here, everything else was. So, yeah, basically cleared all this out, and I'm planning on making some iron fences to fence off all zombies from entering our area. However, that is going to be a project and a half. But yeah, I cleared out as much as tall grass as I can, so now we only have these tinier 1 block high grass, and that's just to make it a little bit more visible, especially since I was basically chopping down trees non-stop for a couple hours, just trying to get this kind of cleared up and ready to build. And as I can see, we have 2 cows, which means that guy is new. And then over there, I believe that's another boar. Nope, never mind, that's just 2 zombies. Okay, sweet. We have 2 cows in this area, so we might be able to make a little tiny farm, make a little ranch out here, breed some cows, get some milk. That's gonna be a great time. And yeah, right here down below, I did kind of clear out a little bit of an area just because I did want a little spot to have some of our stuff. However, this actually connects to the highway, so instead I am thinking of turning this into a garage, and then it's gonna have easy access over here. So I'll configure some create so that this will open up like an actual garage so we can get onto the highway and drive anywhere else. So really cool plans for this place. However, once I do teach you guys how to set up your your bullet automation factory and some other things, you probably won't get an update video from DeceasedCraft for a little while, just because I do want to make the stronghold and then showcase that as humanity's last bastion. Bring over all the guys, all the survivors, bring them, put them all in one spot, and give them some hope while we wait for. There's an agency. I'm not gonna tell you who, but there's an agency. They should be coming around to help us. Maybe. I don't know. Well, you guys will see. But yeah, we're waiting for them. And let's come back over here. Teleport. But yeah, they are going to hopefully pick us up and take us out of this area, bring us back to base, and fill us in on everything that is going on, which would be very cool. But yeah, okay, enough rambling and all that. I'll make sure to include a timestamp in the beginning so that some other people may just skip ahead. But yes, this is going to take a little bit of time to set up. And if you're curious as to how you can set some things up, you could always type in the machine name over here and you can find out how much materials you're going to need for this multi-block, which is super awesome just because if you do look it up over here and you are in your refined storage terminal, what you can do is there's a little plus bar that pops up here. I'm pretty sure if you use refined storage, you already know that puts the materials in the little 9x or 3x3 grid, which if you do it with this little thing popped up, it'll put all the materials in that 3x3 if you have all of them, which is super crazy and super amazing. So that's kind of how I collected everything, just because I've been collecting everything when I've been looting. So yeah, let's get started with this guy. I'm pretty sure this is the squeezer. Yep, the 4 barrels. And then if you actually want to know how you can properly build it, because technically that doesn't really show you how, all you have to do is come back to the manual. This manual has everything for immersive engineering. It's so well thought out, so well planned, so informational, and teaches and shows you everything. Like, if you're not using this and this mod is in the mod pack and you're trying to figure out how to work it, you're doing yourself a disservice by not using this. I know not everybody likes reading and having to navigate some stuff and can be a little confusing, but it's just so good. But yeah, what I like to do is you can press the stop, and this shows how it looks when configured, just because you are going to need to look around and see where is the output and where is the input. And for us, we want the input towards the back and we want the output facing this way so that it can feed into the next machine. So we will look at it from this way. We want the input in the back. So when we press pause again, it's going to go back to this. To stop the animation, all we have to do is press on this little play button. And just like that, now we have an idea. So if we go back over here, as you can see, the blue is on the back. And so we will turn this back off. And let me kind of move this around a moment. Okay, cool. So this is how we want to set it. So we're going to put some scaffolding, a light block, and some fluid pipes. So scaffolding, if I'm not wrong, the fluid pipes right here, light block here. Let's see, am I right? Yep, and then this guy here, boom. I know I just raised it. Yeah, you know what? Let me actually put this all on the ground floor. We don't need this raised, to be honest. I kind of just have this here for marking purposes, so I can mentally and physically plan out how I wanted this to be built. So we do a little something like this, just like that. That's one layer. Click up. Whoops. And that is the next layer. So I'm pretty sure it was like this, like that, and then these four, and then come back over here. Yep. And then on top, we need a piston and 3 steel fences, which, oh, don't tell me I forgot the piston. Wow. Oh no, I have it. Okay, I just didn't see it. Brain no worky. But let's do this, and then we do something like that. Shift aim up, click the corner, and just like that, it is facing down. Perfect. And then to make sure this actually works, how the... I don't know how this one flew all the way over here, but yeah, you are going to need your hammer. And if you just look, it does highlight a block red to indicate that is the block you are right-clicking. So we right-click this guy, and just like that, we have the squeezer right here. So this guy is the one that takes in the hemp seeds to make plant oil. And as you can see, we do have 2 inputs from this side and this side. We are going to be feeding it from the back, and then we are going to want the output, which is right here, to come along and out the side. And then over here, we are going to make the fermenter. One moment. Okay. So if we come over here, and this should be everything for the fermenter, if I am not wrong. So let's clear this out as well. Okay. Let's see. Open this up, come back, click fermenter. Let's put pause, and as you can see from the side again, it is going to output, and from the back, it's going to be input. So we press the play button. Whoops. Do this. Pause the play button. Okay. And then click that, just like that. Now we can actually see it. So it's a very similar base layer. So just like before, just a little something like this. Boom. And then next layer, if we click here, as you can see, it is very similar. It's just we are switching the wooden for cauldrons. So we go boom, boom, and just like that. Let's see, top layer, I'm pretty sure it's just a sheet. Yep, just a sheet metal. So once we do this, we click here, and just like that, we have the fermenter. And now we have 2 machines, one for the oil and one for the ethanol. And then now we are going to have to feed that boy in, or these guys, straight into the refinery to make our biodiesel. Okay, so let's move this torch out the way, put you there, and check out the refinery, which is, how I said, it's basically all the same thing. Here we are going to be taking things from the side and then outputting through the front. So let's get this off, pause this, come back, and look at the first layer, which is a little different. So I'm pretty sure it is all of these. Let's grab this guy, put it here, and if I'm not wrong, should be something like this. I'm pretty sure the light was in the back, the heavy was in the front, and then all the piping was right there. Let's check. Yep, perfect. Next layer. Okay, basically same thing. So you, whoops, this guy should have been the red block. And then pretty sure in all these spots is where we put the sheet metal. That is because this is going to be the tanks. And just like that, double checked, correct. And just like that, it is the top. And we just need to right click this boy. And boom, just like that, we have our refinery, which is super nice. And we could remove these guys just because they are in our way. And so let's build our diesel. I guess we'll build all the machines real quick, just so you guys can see how all of it looks when we actually have it placed down. So now we just need our diesel. Okay, axe, cool. Not to mention, when I was chopping down trees, I'd forget how much durability there is, and some of these trees were big, so I'd underestimate and overestimate and ended up breaking like 8 or 9 different axes. Of course, I repaired some of them. It's just sometimes I'd break it, and man, that was just a huge pain to deal with. Let's see, we'll get rid of you, we'll toss you up here. You can go up there, and I guess our sleeping bag and our pistol. Let's see, glass bottles and some of those. Cool. So let's check out the diesel. Oh yeah, there was a horde that I had to deal with, and in that horde it did suck just because we do have some... Hold up. Diesel is in power, I'm pretty sure. Yes, power and generators. Kind of forgot, but yeah, that one was a wee bit hard for us just because we did have some clickers and I did not realize that, and my brain turned off as I was just using the bat for everything, and I was on the edge of the thing and it shot me into the barbed wire, which, I mean, I didn't die, it's just, it sucks when you get shots into barbed wire when you're not paying attention, just because it takes a while for you to hit the ground. But other than that, it was basically the same guys, just those clickers, maybe a couple more glitter moon people and a couple pregnants. But other than that, still relatively easy fight overall. Okay, now that we have everything, we are going to want the power, aka right here. This is where you are going to be extracting the power from the generator to face this way. So if we press this again, as you can see, this is where the power area is going to be. These radiator blocks is the back. So let's go back to the beginning. Whoops. There we go. And as you can see, it's 3, 3, and then this guy. So let's see if I can remember this. So this is a pretty big structure, so we'll go right here. And then it was... Nope, this is backwards. Nope, let's see. 3, it was this, and then it was you. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you should go there. This should look like this in the back. I'm pretty sure it's just pure radiator blocks. I'm unsure of this guy. Let's take a quick look. Yep, I was right. This guy goes somewhere else. And I know this is 3 blocks high, so we can just do this real quick. And then in here, I'm pretty sure it's just heavy engineering blocks. But we'll take a quick look. So once we have that, we'll click here. Yep, all heavy engineering, and then a redstone thing. So let's pause it real quick. And we are going to want, let's see, because this side's currently facing us. Yeah, this is gonna suck a little bit, but not too bad. Okay, so let's undo that and look at it. As you can see, it's just pure engineering blocks, except for this one. It's gonna be the redstone one. Then if we click again, it's just gonna be pure heavy. I don't know why I had that one random one, kind of threw me off. So if we just place all of these guys like that, put the redstone one, and then just put these guys like this, this should be exactly what we need. And then we just right click the front with the hammer, and boom, we have ourselves the diesel, which is bad for the environment, but we're using biodiesel. That can't be bad, right? It's just plants. I don't know. What do you guys think? If we're using biodiesel made from plants, is that really bad for the environment? I mean, I don't know. We seem a-okay. So now that we actually have all this set, I am going to put all the piping down just so you guys can see how we pipe it over here and into this machine. And then I guess we'll build the excavator next. And then we'll work on the power system and setting up all the closures, just because that is probably the most tedious part. And I'd rather say that for the very end. So if we come over here, as you can see, these are inputs. So all you have to do is look for this output. Outputs are usually this orange dot, which can be a little confusing to some just because there is also this other orange dot. However, it's kind of easy to remember that power usually comes in from the top for most of these machines, as you can see. Not to mention, it is a slightly paler shade of orange. This is like an orange red, or maybe a very deep or saturated orange, depending who you ask, compared to this one. So yeah, power, output. So we are going to run this output over here and bring it to this side of the refinery, and just like that, this will automatically send liquid out into this side, which is pretty nice, just because some machines you do need a pump or something of a sort to actually output or set the configuration. This one already has it done manually. So same thing over here, just run it from this side over here, and let's see. I guess we could bring it inwards just like that, just so that we're not on the edge. But yeah, just like that, you have basically set up the flow of the output into the refinery. And then you can do the same thing here, which is pretty nice. I kind of wanted it to be centered just so I could just put a straight line, but that's not a problem here. We'll just come this way, just like that, and boom. So just like this, as soon as these guys are fed power and the resources, it'll automatically be converted into here, which will then be automatically converted and outputs over here and inserted directly into the generator. And this generator is really cool. Let's see, can you guys hit me through here? Okay, it doesn't look like he can, but I know this dude can. So let's take care of them real quick, and don't need any of your materials. And yeah, we are going to want to put a lever right here to make sure this guy does not turn on. Well, he could turn on for a little bit. The issue is we don't want him running unless we actually have everything set. So all the machines do have this red dot. This is where you can set a little redstone configuration to turn on and off all your machines, and all of them do have it, so little FYI just in case you were curious about that. And now we can actually work on our excavator. So this guy is a little special and can be a tiny bit tricky just because he is special. He needs some proper love and care and attention, and actually I'll show you guys why. So if we come back over here, I'm pretty sure it's in heavy machinery. Yep. Okay, cool. And let's look for the proper spot. Yeah. This one. As you can see, if we were to pause it, this is not a normal 3x5. Let's see, is this 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, this is a 3x6. So, unlike a normal 3x6, this one actually has a little bit more height, and that is because of the bucket wheel. So if we were to unpause this and pause it and come to the very end, as you can see, the bucket wheel does extend 2 blocks down and 2 blocks high. So technically we kind of need to mine out this little area. And if you look at where it's plugged into, this basically takes up the whole thing. So what I like to do is just make the whole thing a huge hole. So let's just mine all this out, and just like that. This should suffice if I'm not wrong, and we will start with the bucket wheel. But yeah, as you can see, it does go all the way across, so it kind of helps you. So like here, you're putting that one, and if we come back this way and press pause, whoops, let's unpause that, pause the animation, and say complete, you kind of see how it's made. So let's get that done real quick. just because I feel like this is probably the hardest part of setting up this machine. So directly in the middle, we have a block. So that's 1 point for us. And then we have 2 little scaffolding and then another steel in the center. So then you could go 1, 2, steel. But this is also a pretty good marker to see where you got to put the next stuff. So steel, so scaffold, steel, scaffold. So let's do this. So right here, we'll do, what was it? Scaffold. Okay, I think I messed that up already. No, yeah. Scaffold, then steel, steel. And then here we have scaffold, and then I'm pretty sure a steel right here. Let's double check that. Yep, scaffold, and then one adjacent downwards, just like that. And then all this is steel scaffolding. And then here too, you could go one of these. Let's see. Yep, one of these, like that. And then right here, I'm pretty sure we have another one. Let's double check that. Yep, so steel scaffold, 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 scaffold. Okay, so steel, hold up, yep, steel, scaffold, scaffold, steel, steel, scaffold, scaffold, steel. I know I'm messing this up, it's just, I'm a little redacted, my apologies, but if we do something like this, then I'm pretty sure something like this to kind of finish all this off, and then you just go boom, boom, and boom. And then that should be everything for the bucket wheel. And this one's pricey just because it does use a ton of steel. That's the reason why you kind of need to set up a little steel production farm, just because looting does take quite a while, especially if you're trying to get all those blocks. Yeah, it does take a minute and a half, but once you have all that, this is pretty easy, which is pretty nice for us just because we are setting this up. And let's unpause, pause this, and go back to the beginning. Just like that. We are getting there. We're getting there. I can't say we're like halfway there because that's a lie, but we're getting there. Making progress. We're making progress. And let's grab all these guys and take a quick look. Oh, yeah, forgot. Need to mine all these now. I mean, this probably would have helped us to see how to set all this up. Kind of only needed one steel block placed down to kind of gauge the rest of it. But yeah, just like that. We have the bucket wheel. Probably the most expensive part of the excavator, but once we have that down, making the rest of it is relatively easy, and relatively easily depending on how much steel you have. But yeah, this is how this guy looks, and if we take a quick look, it looks a-okay to me. So if we come back over here, we are going to want the scaffolding on this side. So if we look at it, it is going to be one. Okay, let's start with the sheet metal first. So sheet metal is going to be right here, and then we're going to need, let's see if we pause it again. Okay, so this side is going to be towards the diesel. So we unpause it. This is going to be the radiator block, and then looked like it was 2 steel, and or is that 3 steel? 1, 2. Okay, 2, and then 3 scaffold. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, sweet. Let's see, let's double check this side. 2, and then a light. So 2 steel, sheet metal, and then a light, and then, was it another steel? Yep, another steel, and then 3 scaffolding. Cool. Does not look right. Where did I mess up? Right there. Yep, I kind of figured. So this guy swapped with this guy, and then we just need you back 1 and you move over 1. So something like that. Ah, crap. No, give it. That would have been very annoying. But yeah, just like that. This should be correct. And let's go on to the next layer. Next layer. So 3 heavy, 3 light. That should be pretty easy. 3 light, and then 3 heavy on the back. Boom. And then steel, steel, light. Okay, let's get this side done. So steel, steel, light. Okay. And then looks like heavy, red, and then steel. So heavy, red, and then just 2 steel. And then if we look over in the last area, looks like another light, the light, and then 2 radiators. So we'll do light, and then the light, and then the 2 Do I have this backwards? I think I have this backwards. Oh, am I... How did this happen? Where did my brain go? Did I just do it backwards? Like, what? Bro, what is going on? My brain is messing with me right now. What? Okay, let's grab all this and double check. Okay, so looking at it from here, we have everything right except for this. Okay, so yeah, this... I don't know. What? Parkour. Love it. Oh yeah, last episode, the blast furnace did break, and it was because of the liquid, which is crazy. I thought something else got to it, but no, it was the liquid. I rewatched that little spot, and it kind of blew my mind. Like, what? How does that happen? But yeah, so now that we actually have this properly, let's see, 3 steel right here, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm assuming this is where we have the 2 radiator, the little 1 block gap, and this is looking way better. So now that we have this and we have that, let's see, this should be everything. Okay, so if I come over here and actually right click this, that should make the bucket wheel, which does not like immersive engineering at all. I mean, shaders. So I think I will turn off shaders just so that we can actually see this. Let's come back over here, turn you off, apply, and just like that, we actually see our bucket wheel, which is huge. And then where do I click for this guy? Let's see, red block is this one right here. Boom. And just like that, we have our excavator. Diggy Diggy Hole. Which, if you guys don't know, that is a pretty nice song from, I believe, the Yogscast. Gotta love it. But yeah, just like that, we have our excavator. Oh my goodness. And we are still needing to set up our power and everything. It is crazy how much stuff we actually gotta do. But if we want infinite ores, basically, then you gotta put in a little bit of time to get it. But let's take a quick drink here and in real life. Ah, cool. So, here comes the slightly, like, inconvenient part, just because this is where it's gonna be a ton of wiring. So, yeah, if you want to skip ahead so you don't have to view all this, go for it. If not, if you're here for the long run and want to see how I actually wire it all together, then oh, this is gonna be fun. That's all I'm gonna say. This is gonna be fun. And I didn't grab a second damn bucket of water. What am I, retarded? Oh, and is there water nearby? Not really. I'll probably just teleport, grab some, and teleport back. I'm trying to save some time. This is going to take a little too much time. But yeah, here is where we are going to want to put the garden cloches, just so that it can throw whatever material onto this conveyor belt to put into the squeezer. However, the squeezer, I kind of have something that I want to do for it. So to kind of like help mentally prep, I want to do the little storage system first. So for the squeezer, no, the fermenter, it is super easy. This is just, I mean, you could feed the potatoes straight into the machine. However, I like to make extra cloches to make sure I have an excess of a material, so I technically never run short on materials. So, because I like to do that, I do end up getting a ton more potatoes than what's actually needed for the machine. So I want to put a drawer down so that we can avoid excess potatoes, which, I mean, you could keep all the potatoes, but I want to avoid some just because it does get a little nutty. So what I will do is we are going to put a little drawer right here, and then we're going to put an item pipe right there, and then we can configure this item pipe to extract it's just going to be extracting potatoes. It doesn't really matter. Actually, you know what? If I turn this off real quick and right click that, boom, it's not doing anything. I can actually lock this real quick just because I did make a drawer. And let's do this potato, lock it so it just makes sure it is always taking potatoes. And yes, put you back there. And now we can actually put the upgrades in here. I'm just going to put a void upgrade. Boom. So once it's full, it's going to void all the potatoes. And then we can just set right click here, say any potatoes, shove it into the squeezer. Damn it, it's supposed to be fermenter. Oh well, not a hard fix, just whoops, and boom. Good catch, good catch. Put this guy here, and then we put this here, and then we put it to extract, and then we toss this improved pipe just so that it could run faster. Like I said, I was trying to make the advanced one so I could kind of whitelist and blacklist stuff. However, I couldn't make it, so I already had this stuff, and that's why I'm using it here. Make it a little more complicated, but saves me material. And boom, just like that, this will automatically get potatoes, shove it in here, and then store excess. And then the way we are going to want to feed this guy is by putting some conveyor belts. So if we come back over here and grab the conveyor belts, all you need to do is set it in a certain direction and it'll automatically input stuff into it, which is super nice. Also, really good with zombies. You can just put it down and it pushes them away. I kind of forgot these guys kind of stack on each other, so let's kind of clear them so they don't stack on us. Okay, just like that, we have that, and we can get the cloches. So potatoes, we are going to need way more potatoes for these, just because, like I said, I like excess, and I want to make sure they work. So if we come up here and shift, we can actually stop ourselves from being moved. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna want 7 on each side. And then we come over here and do the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice. And then we just do this. Put 2 more going that way, and that is perfect. Why do I need to put this a block higher? That is because this is the output for these cloches. So it will automatically output the product onto the conveyor belt, which will automatically put it into the drawer, which will then automatically put it into the fermenter. Just like that. This is how we are going to set up our ethanol. Yes. Almost forgot what it was called. But yeah, let's move this pendulite thing. This kind of isn't important, so goodbye for now. As for the pipes, that's all we are going to need that for. And yeah, so that is this little setup. And then the last thing to do for it is probably grab some fluid pipes and make sure they are all connected. And then we are also going to have to do the same thing for this side. So we'll get to that when we get to that. So we'll put this like this, and then we will run all these connected like so. Then of course you can just leave it as so. I am going to kind of run it down underneath just to make it a little prettier. However, it's still going to look ugly. I don't know. You guys be the judge of it. And we will run it like that, and boom. Got the pipe all configured nicely. Boom. And now let's do the same thing, but for this side, the squeezer. And this one's a little bit different, so this one's going to look a little more funky. So, one moment. Gotta send a text. Let's see. Chicken parm. Yes. And let's see, what do I want for dessert? Let's get some Zippoles. Boom. Okay, cool. Had to send a quick text for some food. Okay, this one is a little bit different just because this one's a little weird, so to speak. Okay. So hemp seeds in cloche technically produce 2 products. the seed and the string, which the string is useful, especially in making tough fabric, which is used in quite a few different uh, recipes. However, we kind of don't need it, so kind of want to store whatever I can and then just discard the rest. So right here, we are going to want conveyor belts in, just because this is how I made the little sorter to only allow seeds to come this way. So we have the conveyor belt right here, and then I believe I can put the drawer right here. And let's see, can I put the funnel right there? No, okay. So what if I put this drawer right here and then the funnel right there? No, because it doesn't really fall into it. Okay, so I'm going to need a little bit of a height difference right here. So we'll put this guy, and then we'll jump and place this. And so, oh no, that means I can move this over here. Okay, cool. I don't know. We'll see if this works. You guys are kind of finding out with me. So we'll put this here, put the funnel right there. And as you can see, it is going to be dropping things if we configure it this way. And the only thing we wanted to drop are these seeds. Why do we want it to drop seeds? Well, that is, damn it. Let me put it. Okay, cool. And I don't have any hemp seeds. Do I have any bones? I don't even have bones. Oh crap. Let's do a quick teleport just because I want to just have everything, set this all up and have it done. And while we are here, let's get this bucket of water. Oh my goodness. This is gonna take a minute. Sorry for the long video. Okay, grab the hemp fiber, click there, come back. It was down south this way over here, and let's teleport. Perfect. And make our way back this way. Sweet. And we already have this like that. We already set the seeds to be configured. We want seeds. Yep, that happens when you don't have this set correctly. Let's remove that. Let's put this here real quick and then lock it. And then once it's locked, then, whoops. And I forgot the damn water. Oh, genius. Indeed. And then we do this. As you can see now, it will drop all the seeds. But at least now we have a seed spot and a hemp fiber spot. So that kind of helps. Oh, really? Why is there no water nearby? Why is there no water nearby? Why is there no water nearby? Okay, cool. I'm redacted, so I will go grab the water real quick just so I can stop having to worry about all this. Boom. Here, let's just grab it from the side. Never been through this spot. Boom, boom. And we are back in business. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so this is how we set up the little thing. I have a conveyor belt, I have this funnel. Funnel drops stuff onto conveyor belt. Conveyor belt puts it in here. Only thing we are dropping are the seeds, and that's why I have this. If you really want to be specific, you could always use list filter, which is kind of the same thing. I'll show you guys how to do it. So you just right click, you put seeds, and then you make sure you click allow, and that'll be the only thing that will be dropped if you click it right there. And that's kind of how you set this. Pretty easy, really nice. Will be very useful when we get into making our gunpowder. Yeah, just like that, we have this. And now here, this one's going to be a little bit different just because of this situation. So what we can do is put a conveyor belt. And then if we shift right click with the hammer, the conveyor belt will now go up. So if we throw a seed, let's just put this and then throw a seed on there. As you can see, it does pick it up, puts it in here, and it was launched and tossed in there. So super cool how you can actually configure these guys. You can make them go up, you can make them go down, and you could basically turn any of the 4 cardinal directions. Super nice, super useful when you learn how to get these set. So let's get all of these placed down. I don't know how many I need really. I'm just placing them all down just in case. And let's grab all of these. Where's the close? Okay, there they are. Brain no worky. Yes, but then if we place one here, this should also grab from the same water. So then, let's see, does it connect to both sides? It does. Kind of forgot whether if they do or don't. So then let's do this. And then whoops, this one I know I need less. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. How many more do we need? Okay, so here we get you, and we are moving you to this side. And then we'll bring the water down underneath from it. Yeah. Okay, let's do something like that. And then remove you, just so I have some room. And then, let's see, pipe. I guess since this one's already lower, we'll just bring it over from this side, bring it over here, cover this spot up real quick, boom. Then straight up from back here, we can bring this guy up and connect all of these, and just like that, we have all this kind of set up. I know this is gonna get crazy in just a moment, so please bear with me. So we have the pumps here, and I guess I'll just put another pipe right here, you know. Let's see, boom, do this, do that, and then double pump, and just like that, these will automatically put water this way, I'm assuming. Let's see, I'm just gonna configure it just in case. So here, facing side, fluid output, facing side, fluid output. The bottom automatically inputs fluid, if you guys didn't know. So what I need to do here is create a little infinite water source for this. And to do that, technically water here, water here, water here, water here. Let's see. So we'll just do water here, water there, grab there, and then right click there and automatically fill. We'll just leave this as is, just in case, and it'll make it a little more visible and easier for us. And then on the back of these guys, we do want to put levers, just because you do have to turn the pumps on once they do have power to actually have them pump water. But yeah, these guys should be enough to pump water in all of these. These guys have been configured to throw stuff onto it. And let's get these guys finally said and done. But first, I kind of forgot that I do need to put the... Can I please? Okay, let's not do that again. Let's get these storage upgrades into you. Boom and boom. And then, let's see. Now let's get the props into all of them. Okay, so toss that up. We don't need any more conveyor belts, which is nice, but we are going to need dirt and some seeds. So this guy, this side is the hemp. So what you can do is, let's do this, boom, boom, just like that. That's simple. Just shift click them in, boom. They're all ready. All you need to do is provide them water, provide them power, and they will be off to the races. So we will do all of this, and just like that, these guys are all set. Now we gotta do our potatoes, so we could just come over here and, well, this one's not too bad. So potato is basically the same thing, just shift click them in. And then once we have all these said and done, we can kind of work on the wiring for all of these. And it'll be you. Yep. And then you. Cool. You. Kind of threw myself under the bus doing this. Boom. Okay, cool. And then here, I should be able to reach the last two. So boom, 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 and boom. Perfect. And then just set the conveyor belt over here. Kind of forgot that's why I needed them. And done. Finally done with that. But now, here comes the tricky part. And that is setting up the power. Setting up power is kind of hard and very tedious in immersive engineering, and you guys are about to learn why. So, MV coils, I'm using MV wire just because it is easier on the transformer and there is a less likelihood of burning the wire, just because if you're using immersive engineering, if you're producing so much energy for power and you try to convert from high voltage to low voltage without using a transformer, it'll burn the low voltage wire. However, if you use a transformer, it is more likely to work better with MV wire than LV wire. I don't know, this is just from my experience, so I'm converting high voltage from the diesel into medium voltage with the transformer, and that's what we are going to be using to power all of these guys. So if we get these MV connectors, what sucks is we don't have the ability to fly. So all you have to do is shift click on all of these guys at the top, and you will basically be equipping them all with the connector that we get to connect at some point soon, which is going to be crazy because you're going to be clicking a ton. Just like that, all these guys are set. And then we come over here and we are going to have to do all of these as well. Boom, boom, and boom. Okay. However, we are going to need some initial power to get this all up and running. And this is where it's going to get a little tedious. Just because I'm not too sure if this guy's going to catch fire, and if it does, that's going to suck. But just like that, we have all those cables, and I kind of want to set up the generators real quick. That's the reason why we are also utilizing generators, even though we are making the diesel, because you need a Kickstarter. And this guy is going to be our Kickstarter. Good thing is, we have tons of things, so let's see, how do I want to set this up? We want ice on this side, so if we do this, this should be an okay little setup for this. And yeah, okay, let's just do something like that. And then in all of these sides, we are going to want lava. Okay, and then every other side is basically blue ice. Okay, whoops, I don't know why I destroyed that. We'll do this, this, and boom. Cool. Very annoying setup, but let's see. Double ice, double ice, double ice, and double ice. Cool. This one might cause us a slight issue with the fences, but kind of tight on time for trying to get this all done in one video. So let's see. Oh crap, this one needs ice here. Ah yes, a genius. And that sucks because we actually lose it. So boom, boom. This one's gonna need lava here. These fences are probably gonna burn up. Oh well. Oh well. We'll see what happens. Throw that here. And then this one's gonna need lava here. This one's gonna need lava here. And then a lava right here. And then technically this one's ice, so this guy's not working properly. Unless we flip it. Which, you know what I can do is say goodbye to you and put you down right here and say, oh well, this is what we are working with. So that is what, 6 generators? Okay, not bad. Very ugly configuration, but I am slowly getting tighter and tighter on time. Trying to get this under 2 hours at best. And I was gonna make this look nice, but I might just tidy this up later. So let's get the MV relays and get this all set. So right here, what I probably can do is put some steel fencing. That's good enough. Don't need it too high. Just need it to reach the areas it needs to go. Boom. Put the MV relays right here so that these guys can actually move power around. As you can see, it did burn through, so slight issue. Let's take care of you guys. Good thing we do a lot of damage. And then we can just do that, and let's keep on going. Let's keep this train moving. Okay, so now we need to put connectors on top of all of these, because these guys only transmit power through connectors. And then get some wire, connect the wire, connect it to these relays, which is super nice. And then, oh, looks like another fence is going to be burning up, sadly. Oh well. Sweet, just like that. We have light Kickstarter area, and now we gotta bring it over here. So, this is gonna look ugly, but, I mean, I was gonna make it look nice, but at this point, I kinda just need it to work. Okay, so once we have this, I kinda only want to power everything on this side. So, let's do this, 2, boom, put this right here just to have some height. Like I said, initial plan, nice. I'll fix it up later. Right now it's just, can I get it to work? So we'll do this and then come over here. And then we're going to need another one over here just so that this guy can actually get these guys powered. And I think putting it right here would probably be the best idea, honestly. Instead, whoops, okay. Yeah, let's get rid of these. Cool. Get rid of this one. Let's get up here. And then boom. Let's get up here, put one more, and then put you right there. And sweet. Just like that, we can put the relay. And that relay should be able to reach all three. Perfect. Cool. And everything's on fire. No! This is not what I wanted, but as you can see, let's break this down real quick. So, power generated from thermoelectric. Thermoelectric is now sending power to these relays. Relays are now carrying the power. Now we need to move the power somewhere. So, best way to do it is combine these two into one singular point so we concentrate all the power into one spot. Okay, how do we do that? Well, that means connecting all of it into another relay. Cool. Which relay? This relay. Let's come over here and see if we could right-click you. Nope. Actually, this one would probably be safer to do. And since we are probably going to be jumping up and down quite a bit, let's use some insulated MV wire. So we click this guy. Stop! No! No! That is going to be very painful if that burns. So we're going to select that one and send it over here. Insulated wire, super nice. You don't get zapped by it. And technically we only need it right now. Cool. Now let's click this guy again and bring him over to this guy. Cool. Both of them fed into this spot. This spot can now feed all of these with all the power being produced by all of those. Super cool. But we're bringing it over here to this guy. Sweet. Now this guy is being connected to all these three dudes. So we do this, and just like that, all of these are connected. Cool. So now these guys are being charged and are now at full power. Amazing. Now we need to kickstart our stuff over here. However, I want to kickstart our dude over here first. Let's see, does this work? Nope, goes through this. Oh, this is annoying. Because then that means I need to set up a little something over here. You guys are gonna be the bane of my existence. Oh, gotta love it. Just complete obliteration. Let's see if we could get this guy to do the same. Come on. Bam. If you guys don't know, zombies can take... Anybody can take damage from this, and since we don't have a lot of armor and armor toughness, I highly recommend you don't test how much damage these guys can do unless you're willing to suffer the consequences. But yeah, you can use this as a little perimeter fence to burn off zombies. The way you can do it is by putting a little relay here, a relay there, and having a little wire going across, and if zombies walk into it, zap, done. For the most part, this should one-tap majority of zombies, and yourself included, so be warned. That's why I use insulated wire here, and might have to make more. I kind of forgot, in this mod pack, this can actually kill me super quickly. Very scary stuff. And let's bring power on this side, I guess, and we'll do that by doing something like this. And let's do one more. One more, please. Cool. And we'll put a little something right here. Put a little relay right there. And bring some wire over this way. Okay. And we'll do you. Crap. Okay, I guess we'll be doing it this way. Boom. And click on this guy. And bring it over here. Boom. Now these guys need to be connected. I kind of forgot what I was doing. Boom. Click you, click there, boom. These guys are connected. Turn them on. And good thing is they don't make noise. However, not making noise makes me think they're not working. But as you can see, it is filling all of them up. Perfect. And now because I know that is gonna completely obliterate me, I am turning all the wire into insulated wire. because that would be the absolute safest option to do. Boom, perfect. Come back over here, especially if you're playing hardcore. Little reminder, I'm not. However, I do plan on doing hardcore in the future when we redo all this. Yeah, just like that. All of these are now safe. We don't really die. High voltage does not have safety wires, so be very careful. But just like that, everything is powered. And how I said, I do want some of these guys to run right now. Not all of them, just some of them, just so that we can get a little bit of a kickstart going. So we'll power a couple of these and connect them all right here. And just like that, I believe 4 of each should suffice for a little bit of a build-up. And then once we have enough, we can actually connect the diesel. So if we click on this, as you can see, this will take a little while to produce some crops, but once they are produced, they will pop out and begin their journey. So let's actually connect. Let's see, how's the power? Okay, power is looking good, honestly. Power is looking good. So let's do one more of each connected to it. Okay, power. Okay, power's looking okay. Power's looking okay. Okay, now these guys are suffering. Okay, but not too bad. So this is as many as we can run at a time for right now. Just 5 of each connected, and then these machines. Okay, runs perfectly. They produce the ethanol, or are producing their ethanol and plant oil respectively, and everything is working perfect. Come over here to the refinery. As you can see, we do have some ethanol and some plant oil. Cool. And now this is going to build up, and then once we give this the nitrate, this will turn into biodiesel. Biodiesel comes over here, this powers, sends power over here, yada yada yada. Oh, everything's on fire. Okay, cool. We do not die if we touch it. No. Just gone. All of it gone. What's important is this not burning up, but yeah. What was I gonna say? Setting up the power for this guy. So what I am gonna do, just because this guy produces about 4096 FE per tick, and I'm pretty sure that is produced by each one of these little phaser spots, I believe. And let's see. So if we come over here, I did get some HV accumulators just because we have collected quite a few of them over time. So if we place them here, these guys should be able to charge. So opposite side, input, input, input. At the top, we are going to want to output. And then let's connect some HV wire connectors to the top of these guys, and then we are going to want to put a couple right here, and then nope, don't do that. You know what? Let's get rid of these guys. I don't want this to spread this way. I believe those should be out of range now. And let's goodbye. Cool. So the reason why we don't have all 3 of these connected is because we are going to be siphoning some power from one of these to turn it into some medium voltage power so that it can connect and power the rest of everything over here. And it looks like that guy basically was one-shotted. Just, he got lucky and survived. That's all it really comes down to. He got lucky and survived. But yeah, so to do that, we are going to need to bring power from here to a transformer, which transformers are pretty cool looking in this. And I do want it kind of high just because I don't want to accidentally walk into it. So we'll do this, and let's climb up a little bit. 1, 2, sweet. Now we are at the top. Nope, we can't get to the top, sadly. Let's see. Can I climb this somehow? Nope, okay. And I guess that means I kind of need to come over here, jump on this, and then right here we will click on it like that. And as you can see, we got the high voltage right there, and then the smaller connector on that side. So we'll crack that guy's head open and see if we can actually connect this. So if we come over here, get the HV wire, we'll connect you to you, and then you to the bottom one, and then this guy will be connected to the top. And perfect. Sweet, this is technically all too high for us to walk into. And then this should allow power to come over here and be transformed into medium power. And since this whole system is all interconnected, this should be able to power everything besides that, just because this is a temporary measure. And as you guys can see, when these guys have things inside, it does use basically all the power until it's done with its job, and then it recharges. But if we have all of these connected, that's going to be a lot more materials going in here, which means these guys are going to be running longer and longer, using up all the energy, and that is not sufficient. You can double this, and it probably still won't be sufficient. Maybe triple might be able to carry you over. However, there's no point in that. Just siphon power off one and convert it into medium voltage. And then we click here, click there, and just like that, when we do feed this guy, it'll automatically come over here and then send power back over here. And then all of these guys should be properly charged really easily. So let me just double check how much liquid we actually have in our refinery. Good, this is a really good buildup. One issue is we don't have any nitrate, but we can solve that really quickly, and we will do that real quick. I say real quick, which hopefully it is real quick. We'll see how lucky or unlucky we truly are. So we'll toss this to the side, and just so much stuff. I know it was going to be a lot of stuff, but man, oh man, so much more than I truly thought. Right now, we shouldn't need any more connectors, wires, or HV. Thermoelectric, no. Oak fence. We're going to have to swap that to steel at some point, and just like that. Okay, that should be enough room. And what is the crusher? Well, we will find out in just a moment. I am going to teleport to base, and then hopefully I have everything for the crusher, and hopefully I have a lot of sand so that I can get this all done. So we'll teleport over here. Let's come on this way. Sand. Cool. We have a lot of sand. Sad thing is, we might lose all this sand just for nitrate, but that's a chance I'm willing to take. And if you type crusher, and this is the machine, as you can see, the little thing pops up over here. And we are going to need some steel fence, which I don't have, so let's craft a couple of these real quick. And then 1, 2, 3, toss them back in there. And then hoppers. I don't know if I have hoppers, so we'll just make a couple. Doesn't really matter. And then if you just shift click, boom, all the materials appear in the 3x3 grid, as I was saying from earlier. We just grab it real quick, and boom, ready to go set up. Beautiful. I don't think I need anything over here. Please, I pray I don't. Teleport back over here. Cool. And now we just gotta set this up. So come back over here. Come back to machinery. We only needed to get the nitrate, and then we could disassemble it. This does not need to stay here. However, you can keep it here, just because then you could actually feed the ores from the excavator into the crusher, and then basically double it. So a quick look real quick into that. So if you send the ores into the crusher, it'll double it and have a % chance to drop some extra ore. But that is not the case for every ore. Some ores it's just a singular with like a 50% chance at a second. Just lead has a double with the chance of silver, which is really nice, especially since we are going to be using a ton of bullets. Yeah, this makes sense and is very helpful. And then in the future, you could always just toss it straight into the arc furnace to get your double ingots, which this guy does use a lot of energy. So yes, another diesel. Basically, you're gonna need diesels and quite a few of them to produce all your stuff. So let's get this crusher set. I'm pretty sure this guy is also like a little 3x3, if I'm not wrong. So let's pause it, and as you can see, it does look like it. So we'll put play and then pause. And whoops, I thought I paused it. And let's go back down to the initial. Okay, cool. This is just a ton of scaffolding and light engineering. This is kind of close, so let's do it right here. Okay, let's mine you. Sorry, need you guys to move real quick. And double check, boom. So 1, 2, 3, then it's like this, and then should be something like that, and then 1, 2, I'm not wrong, yep. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, okay. I know that made no sense, but it does to me. Okay, cool, we pause it, perfect. Okay, do this, and then next layer is 3, 1, 1, 1, so 3, so 1, 2, 3, then 1, 1, nope, not here. This one goes back here, this one goes right here. This one actually goes here in the center, because this one is actually surrounded by the 8 steel fence. Okay, and then on top of this, I'm pretty sure it's just the hoppers, and then we should be done. So we'll just do this right quick, and double verify, and yeah. And then we just right click this guy with the hammer, and boom, we have a crusher. Awesome. Be careful, hazardous machinery, and it is hazardous. Okay, it does not tell you why. However, if you fall in here, I don't think you can escape, and it will crush you to death. So be very careful. Do not underestimate it. It does hurt. And let's grab some insulated wire. Let's grab ourselves a connector real quick, and then we could run power over this way. And then just like that, this guy is now going to charge up, and which means we can actually make some sandstone. So I don't want to use up all of our sand, so hopefully these 4 can actually produce for us. So we just toss it in. You can use conveyor belts to drop stuff in, and it'll automatically do it. And just like that, we are getting stuff. Perfect. And then this is the output, so you could always put a chest or conveyor belt, whatever you need to get your stuff done. Silica dust, that is what we need for silicon later in the future. Super good. But we got 1 piece of nitrate dust. Don't let this discourage you. You exactly needed only 1 piece for this whole situation. And with that, we can actually disable this guy. So we'll just mine that, mine this guy. Of course, if you want to be a little safer with your wires, you can just click it or right click it with the wire cutters to actually disable them, or basically take them off, which makes sense and is so nice. Okay, so we'll just remove this guy just because I do not plan on using him here. I have a future use for him in tomorrow's episode, which is kind of nice now that we actually have it all done and set, because then I have 1 less machine to actually prep for. So let's come back in. Let's see, what was it? Here? Yep, or hold up. Yeah, it was here, because I have some to create stuff. So we're gonna need 8 of these guys. 9, 1, 10, and 10. Don't think anything else. Yep, don't need, or shouldn't need anything else. Okay, let's get this settled. So now that we have this all like this, and all configured, there's one thing that I do want to do real quick, and that is make a lever. Why? Well, this guy's gonna want to produce power, and it's gonna go crazy when it does. So when that happens, I do want to turn them off real quick. So now that everything's all set, this guy is about to start doing work once we toss this in. So if we shift click it in, boom, he's this is making biodiesel. Biodiesel's getting sent over here. Biodiesel's being used to make power. Power is now being sent back over here to make sure everything is running at 100%. As you can see, it is. And this guy's also getting power to run effectively. However, oh crap. Okay, cool. We don't die. That's super cool. Let's turn this off just because I want to actually connect everything over here. So if we come back this way and grab all of our insulated wire, now it is time to go crazy and connect everything. Like, honestly, you guys might think this is absurd at this point. However, in one of the mod packs that I'm playing with a brother, we are using immersive engineering for our power for a little system called refined storage, just like here. However, we're trying to keep it a little medieval and fantasy based, but I kind of hate Tom Simple storage, not to mention it was kind of crashing because we are also using Apocalyptic in that mod pack. So to fix it and get it working, we added immersive engineering and refined storage, and turns out all the lag is now gone, which means some storage mods are just better than others, which I understand, and it's always been the case, but yeah. But now everybody has now been completely connected. Everybody now has power, and now these guys are going to be running at 100% speed. And let's see how this all works. So, biodiesel, 100%. This guy is making a ton of biodiesel. Now the only issue is, will our potatoes keep up, or will I need to add some more? It looks like plant oil is somewhat keeping up with its main job. Let's see. These guys are all powered, I believe. Let's double check. Okay, powered. Okay, they are all powered. These guys are powered as well. And let this run. But yeah, as I was saying, my other setup is like 3 times as big because I'm running 2 diesels non-stop. And yeah, it's a pain. It's a big pain to utilize. Okay, as you can see, these guys are now slowly starting to struggle as we are getting proper resources, just because there's just so many things using power currently. So let's kind of alleviate this issue by turning this guy back on. So when we right click this is now siphoning some power and utilizing it over here. So this should be producing basically all the power needed to get this guy up and running nicely, not to mention making sure everything over here is running properly. The only issue is, will our items be able to keep up with this? However, I am probably going to wrap it up soon just in case, but if you are realizing you're not producing enough biodiesel, then all you really need to do is expand the amount of garden cloches you are using. So right now, I believe we're at 14 for potatoes and 10 for the seeds. However, if you see that one side is lacking compared to the other over here in the refinery, as you can see, plant oil seems to be doing 100%. However, our potatoes seem to be not keeping up. Then what you can do is just add 2 more garden cloches at a time. So like for me, it'd basically be another garden cloche here, another one here, and some Jakarta, and then boom, get a little bit more potato scent. And then if that doesn't work, we could add another one right here. And because of how I have it set up, all it takes is basically adding it, basically just adding it. And then I could actually remove this. So before I do that, I just want to double check how much diesel we have, how much we're using. So give it a little moment just to keep running. I just want to verify this real quick, ensure that everything's running properly. And okay, so we are going to need some more fluid pipes. I am going to need, okay, dirt. Where is my potato? Did I toss all the potato in? Okay, no, I didn't. We're going to need some conveyor belts, and we are going to need some jacaranda. Let's see. MV cable connectors. They should be over here. Yep. We don't need you. We don't need you. Move this over. Okay, cool. All I need to do is make some garden cloches, bring them over and connect it, and then we should be okay. Looks like this is actually producing enough. I don't know if you guys noticed earlier, we were at like 16,000, like 800-ish, and then it did go up. Now we are about a whole bucket up. So technically, this is producing enough. These potatoes are doing its job. It's just, I really like to see all of my machines completely full. So I think I might actually add 2 more rows, and I'll show you guys, or let's see, I could probably add 2 more rows. Let's see how that looks. And then over here, oh crap, this isn't really doing anything, sadly. So, where? I swear, I had something. Yes, you. Let's do something like this. Crap. Let's see. I kind of forgot. Let's see, what does it say for the ores? I forgot where you gotta put a chest. Excavator, nope. Heavy machinery, excavator, okay. So this will mine from the vein. Okay, complex, uses a lot of power. Okay. And then fits into braces of engine. Okay. Okay. The energy input for the engine is on its side. The back features a redstone control panel and the item output. Okay, so the back is where items are going to be popping out. And it looks like it's been popping out back here. And looks like it's coming out from right here. So if we just put the backpack right here, we can actually toss this back in here. And boom. Looks like, let's see if the number changes real quick. Okay, cool. As you can see, this is now working properly, and it is outputting everything into this backpack. Why did I do the backpack? Mainly because of the stack upgrades, and you could just crazy stack one of these with that. But yeah, look at that. We are now getting some silver, we are getting a ton of lead, and we are getting sulfur, which is exactly everything that is coming from the Galena vein. If we take a quick look at it, mineral deposits, come back over here to the G for Galena, and as you can see, it is going to be a majority lead and then a little bit of each. But then when in the off chance that it doesn't pick one of these three to output, it is going to output some of these guys, but you don't have to worry too much. As you can see, even though the percentages were high over here at 50, 30, and 20, and you look over here, in comparison to the amount of true output, this is very minuscule, and that is because of the saturation. The saturation is basically telling you this is how many ores you can expect. The remaining 1% is going to be the cobblestone, the gravel, and the cobbled deep slate. So yeah, you are going to get way more ores and resources compared to the technically trash, even though it's not really trash. But yeah, I mean, it just depends on you. Like, if you're a builder, you love getting a little bit of everything. So honestly, you see this, you're probably really happy about it. And honestly, I would be too, because cobbled deep slate, or deep slate in general, is a super magnificent item to build with. Cobblestone, you can never have enough of it. Good for basically everything, and when smelted or left alone. Building material, gravel, used for roads, decoration, another great building material. So how I said, it just depends who you ask. But if you're just looking for pure resources, yeah, it might be a little trash, but you could always put a filter and have it voided. Because if you just come over here and put void, you could just put one of these guys in here, set it to void these three, and then boom, this backpack will only collect pure resources, and then you can swap it out. So whenever you need bullets, you come take this backpack, leave another backpack, and then boom, just keep alternating them. But yeah, just like that, we basically have this all set. And guess what? Now that this is siphoning power, we don't really need all this. So what am I gonna do? We are actually going to disable this and see if it works without it. So we'll grab all of these guys, move all this back here. We're gonna leave the ice, and since this has been disconfigured, technically these are not sharing power, so we can actually remove the wire real quick. As I said, you could use right click with wire cutters, and or you could just mine it straight up. So let's mine these guys and see how this looks. And then now we can actually remake some fences, put it back down, and then boom, we are set. Let's check when the next horde is coming in one day. I don't know if I'm gonna show you guys that, but we are basically done here. But let's get this all fixed up, and then let's wrap up the episode. I know it took a while, but we did it. It took a while, but you gotta put in a little bit of time to get what you truly want. And let's come back. I could actually make it here. Actually, you know what? Oh wait. There's no rush. But first, I want to double check this. So this is actually full in biodiesel. Plant oil is steady. Ethanol is going up steadily, pretty. I mean, it's staying steady and it's going up. So I technically don't need to make more. It just took a little while. That's what it was. It just took a little bit to actually get to this point. But yeah, as you can see, this is all set and done. Super nice. These guys are all full of water. One thing I do want to check is if these are connected to anything vital. I mean, this is connected to that. So the only thing I probably truly have to do is I guess I have to leave it. Just because these guys, this is connected to this, which is connected to that, which is connected to those guys. Okay. Haha, you can't touch me. And let's come over here and take care of you guys real quick. Boom. Sweet. Okay, let's teleport on over, get the last things truly needed, and then we'll call it a day. But yeah, as you can see, this guy is full, this guy is full, and building up resources. These guys are holding up just fine. Everything is connected. This I was gonna remove, but I guess can stay. And let's see how much steel fences we have. Nope, not you. Did I throw you over here? Yes, I did. So we'll make a couple steel fences, we'll make a couple regular fences, and then we will basically wrap up the episode, just because I did get what I wanted to do done, which is awesome. So hopefully you guys are as excited as I am, just because I am pretty ecstatic. Let's grab a ton of this. Let's do that. Boom, boom, grab. I don't even think I need that many. Okay, let's make just a few more of these guys. Okay, I think that is perfect. I know I'm teleporting around a lot. It's just, as you can see, it did take a lot of time, and I'm trying to keep this all continuous, get this all done. So let's bring some fencing back over this way, and just like that, no zombies should be able to get over here. Put a couple torches down just to make sure this is nicely lit up and they don't spawn in this area, because that will be pretty annoying. And since I actually connected all this with insulated wire, it's so nice. I don't have to worry about getting zapped to death. In the other mod pack, I am using just normal wire. Reason being, I have crazy strong armor, really high armor stats and toughness, so I kind of don't really care about it. But yeah, let's do that. Boom. Just a little decoration, make it look a little nicer. But other than that, this is basically all you really need to get this all said and done. Let's come up here and boom, and then boom, and let's get on this side. Let's see, what's the best way of getting up here? Okay, boom, get over here. We'll come up here, click there, and then right here on the side, just like that. We kind of have little light posts, kind of nice. Everything's getting powered, everything's saturated. This is all blocked off. This is perfect. And the final touch to make sure you're constantly producing ores even when you're not in this area is to use your mini map. And if we come over here, there is 3 chunks that I do want to claim, and it is all 3 of these. So you come here, claim, right click here, claim. Right now we don't need to force load this, but we do need to force load these 2. So just right click on them again and click force load. Now that these are force loaded, they will work all the time as long as we are inside of this world. As soon as we log out, I mean, of course, like any other map, it's done. But if you are on a server, it works that way. So on a server, if you have this force loaded, as long as you are on the server, these will be force loaded. However, if you are not on the server, these will turn off. So if you're trying to figure out how to get resources, just leave your character AFK if you're trying to do something else, and then it'll automatically do its thing. But as long as you are playing, no matter where we are, the numbers should keep going up. And to test that theory real quick before we wrap this up, we will click on this. Okay, let's try remembering some of these numbers. 157, 43, and 35. Okay, 157 or 158, 43, 35. Let's come back to base real quick. Damn, talking way too much. Okay, we will let that run for a little bit. But yeah, just like that. That is how you can set up an extractor or an excavation site with its power. If you are wondering if there's any better way to generate power in this mod pack, there is one, and that is with extreme reactors. This is the mod that is new to the mod pack. It's not new at all, it's just new to the mod pack. Before, this was never in the pack, and I believe the reason why is because they're gonna make a pretty big reactor utilizing this and put it into the lab, which is pretty cool idea. However, I think like create New Age would probably be a better looking reactor. I don't know, just because this is very modular. But at the same time, as I said, maybe making something modular and a little bit more compact might be easier when creating structures. So can't blame them. But yeah, if you do want to use this as your source of power, you are going to need to make reinforced casing just because he removed or disabled the basic. So to do that, if you click on it, as you can see, you are going to need quite a bit of lead, quite a bit of steel, and some machine casing, which requires aluminum and some duraplast. So, aluminum, you are going to need to set up another excavator to get a good amount of this, just because this resource spawns at like Y level 50 and above, nothing below. And then duraplast, well, this is a little bit of work, as you can see. You do need some phenolic resin to be put into one of these molds, which you can make this mold, so don't worry about it. And this bottling machine, not a big issue, honestly. Only issue is making this resin, which if you are actually going to make this, you are going to need creosote oil, which as long as you're producing uh, cold coke, you will have tons of creosote. Just put that into a little fluid tank like the one I have outside, and then just have that go into one of these refineries to produce this. As for as was it as said as oh my god, I can't read. Acetaldehyde, acetaldehyde. I swear I used to say this normally. My brain's just done. But yeah, if you click on it and you want to make it, you are going to need a second refinery, to which you just put some ethanol and then put a silver plate, and then it'll produce it. So, not too hard to produce, but is another setup. So, this is probably, I'd say, if you're trying to make like extra stuff besides setting up a little excavator site, I'd probably wait till you have like enough resources where you're towards the end game and you're trying to make a true base and just have everything being produced. Then I think that's probably when you would want one of these. Unless you're playing with a lot of friends, then of course it'd be way easier to set this up just because all of you can go gather resources on your own. But yeah, you got to make that reinforced casing and all that stuff, and then you're gonna need the rods, which require a little bit of uranium. So you are going to have to do a little bit of mining, and little note, you will need to set up an excavator for a uranium site. I did find one, so we might have to do that, just because these machines do use uranium to produce power, and then you're also going to need it to build it. So a little heads up. And then you click here, you're going to need a little mechanical piston from Create, and then some more steel plates, and then some graphite electrodes, which are definitely an end game item that to make. Because if you click on these, you're going to need a metal press. Okay, that's not end game, but if you click on the graphite ingot and you click on the hot graphite dust, you're going to see, oh, you need a coke dust, and then you click on that, you're going to need, what is it? Crusher to crush the coke dust. So it's just a process to just make that in general. So yeah, pretty fun. Very fun. Let's see. What else would we need? I'm trying to give the thing a little bit of time before we go back and check. But yeah, and then of course just feed it uranium to actually power it. And then of course you could use water, diamonds, iron, gold blocks, whatever you want as a moderator, and boom, that is how you get your extreme reactor set up. And depending how big you make it is how much power you can actually extract from it. So a little heads up there, which can be super useful and might be the way in the future. But for right now, definitely just diesels and diesels everywhere. So looks like everything is still fully powered. Looks like this guy is producing and staying consistent, increasing non-stop, so we don't need to add anything else. If you're wondering how many cloches, potato has 14 cloches. I think the recommended amount is like 9, and then 6 for the seeds. However, how I said, I like being over prepared, so I have 14 potato cloche and I have 10 hemp seed cloche. And as you can see, we are also getting quite a bit of hemp as well, or the fiber. And then these guys doing their job, then the refinery doing his job, this guy doing his job, and let's double check everything in here. And as you can see, we were at like 150, this is now 256, so we don't even need to look at anything else. As long as you are in the world and you have this chunk claimed and chunk loaded, it'll do its job. But yeah, just like that, nearly 2 hours of non-stop work. I know it was a little bit of chatting here and there, but I think it was a little necessary. But yeah, we got this done. In the next episode, we will be working on our gunpowder farm, so I will most likely be prepping for that, taking care of the next horde, and then when we reconvene, we will build this sucker, get this gunpowder, and with this lead and with whatever brass we have and bullet shells, we can start producing our own bullets. So then we can just go around crazy firing our guns non-stop without a care in the world, just because right now I do have full ammo. However, after the last horde and using my guns here and there, getting resources, I was left with like 30 bullets for my 9mm. I was left at like 400 for the ACP. This guy was full. I have a little bit of this ammo, but these guys were basically on death's end. I have used all the bullets in our storage, and I don't feel like raiding any more police stations at this point. So yeah, I bought ammo to refill ourselves for the horde in the next in-game day in Minecraft. Yep, looks like the horde is either tonight and or tomorrow. So I will wrap this up so I could head over to base just because it is getting night. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, advice, tips, or tricks, or would like to ask me how to set up a certain thing, how I would like to do it, or how I do it, just because I may do it different from somebody else, let me know down in the comments and I will do my best to get to it. However, if you guys are enjoying the series and would like to follow along, even though this is slowly wrapping up, make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure that notification bell is enabled so you guys are notified whenever I do drop another video. One question I have for you guys is, how's your survival going if you are playing this? What have you guys set up? Do you guys have multiple excavators running, or are you guys behind me? Or are you guys using me as a template to learn all this and get prepared for when it finally drops? And besides that, one last one truly is, once the series is over, I do want to start up another series. However, it might take a little bit of time just because school is back up in play. So depending on how much time I have to dedicate to those classes to make sure I'm passing with a good grade, might impact how frequent I am with these videos. However, I will do my best to get these guys up at least once a week. However, I will aim to do better, but no promises. As for the next series, if I don't see any comments within 2 days of this upload, I will be picking my own and going out and about with it. As for right now, there's 2 in my mind that I'm thinking about doing. One is Cisco's new, no, never mind, scratch that. Next one we're doing is Cobblemon, but not any Cobblemon, all the mods, or on all the mons. Yes, that's the name of it. Just because it does have the usual all the mods progression, should have a ton of mods, would be very fun, and I think that is where we are gonna hop in. I've never played Cobblemon, so, or the mod Cobblemon. I know there was an old school Pixelmon back in the day in Pokemon, however that's been ages for me, so I have no clue what I'm doing, so that'll be pretty fun, and I hope to see you guys there. But yeah, with that, we have made another step into advancing our civilization. With that, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.